2023. This is it. This is the end of 2023. It's been a crazy year. It has been packed with so much more than I could have ever imagined. And I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to everyone who came on the show, all the guests, to everyone who listened. Also, huge shout out to Luke for helping me build out this amazing podcast studio and being a partner in the studio. I just wanted to make an episode to just create some space to express my gratitude. This has been a dream come true for me. I don't really talk a whole lot, I guess, about the backstory of like behind the scenes of the podcast and the studio and how that all came about. But this is my third attempt at trying to do a podcast. When I first moved to LA and my brother and I had this tiny little studio that was really just a closet on 17th and Broadway in Santa Monica. I tried to start a podcast there, got about one episode in, never even published it. And it was going to be a podcast about van life, interviewing other van lifers, because we were living in our van together at the time and just were meeting a lot of people in that community. And that one was a flop. Fast forward a few years later, me and a couple other guys, we're all partnered together on a studio down here in downtown Los Angeles called Protovision. And when COVID hit, one of the partners and I, we started a podcast, and we did put out a few episodes, but eventually I moved back to Canada for a little bit, and the podcast stopped short of, probably even its third episode. And so this has been my third attempt at doing a podcast, and I launched in February. I want to say it was February 14th. I don't know the actual date for sure, but I think it was the 14th. So it's been almost a year, and last Friday I just put out my 50th episode, and it has been such an incredible experience getting to have conversations with people that have been deeply meaningful to me, and hopefully also to the people who listen to them and the people that I share them with. I've had opportunities where I meet somebody randomly, like out in a parking lot at Cliffs of Id, and then later that night we're doing a podcast. There's been so many situations where I've gotten to meet incredible people, and the podcast has really been a platform for me to have these conversations with people that I otherwise might not have had these conversations. So it's been such a beautiful experience, and it's really my hope to be able to share these intimate moments with you guys, and to be able to capture something, to almost be a bit of a documentarian or an archivist, and just save some of these moments, some of these conversations, some of these stories, and hopefully through that provide moments of laughter or provide information, insight, and I guess most importantly, provide a story. As humans, we all relate to each other through our own stories, and we kind of exist in this narrative that is our personal story, and it's something that is intrinsically inherent in the human experience. We're obsessed with stories. We can't help ourselves. And so, anyways, all that to say, I just want to say thank you so much to every single person who's been on the show. It means the world to me. And I'm really excited for what's around the corner in 2024. There are some things that I can't quite talk about yet because they're not, they're in the works, but they're not solidified, but some really, really exciting things. If you know me personally, then you probably already know what I've been talking about a lot, but it involves just taking the podcast to the next level. I'm really excited for these upcoming interviews, some things that I already do have lined up. I'll actually be headed up to Canada tomorrow with the hopes of interviewing my grandfather, who is 93 and was born in Belarus and has just had a incredible journey through this life, to say the least, considering the fact that one of his earliest memories is getting ice from a horse-drawn wagon in the village. It's just so crazy how different his experience as a boy was compared to my experience as a kid growing up in the 90s, compared to a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha kid growing up today, going into 2024. And I think that I personally find it interesting to hear the stories and perspectives of the people in our community who are significantly older. You know, people who are in their 70s and their 80s and their 90s, or even 100. It's just so fascinating to hear the way that they lived and to get a broader context. So anyways, I wanted to share just a couple of things. I don't want to make this super long, short and sweet. One other quick little announcement is that starting tomorrow, I'm going to be releasing the podcast on Mondays instead of Fridays. I'm going to try that out. I'm curious to see if that makes a difference, because supposedly, based on the data, that's more people are listening to podcasts that are released earlier in the week. So we're going to find out. And tomorrow will be the first one, which I think is perfect because it's the first of the year, 2024. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But thank you for being along for the ride. If you enjoy this podcast, make sure to, subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube. Also follow the channel on Instagram. It's just the Spring Street Podcast. It really makes a difference, and I want to be able to engage too more. That's one thing that I didn't do a ton of this year. I was really just putting these episodes out and then having conversations with people on the side. But I would really love to hear more from the people who listen, what you thought of the episode, what you wished that I had asked, or maybe some positive or constructive criticism of how you think the podcast could have been done better, because right now I get most of that constructive criticism solely from my father, which is great, and I appreciate it. I love you, Dad. But these podcasts are going to stay long form. So, besides this one. But anyways, all that to say, thank you once again. I wrote down just a little kind of prayer / blessing. I'm not particularly a religious person, but I do think that there is a power to the words that we speak and the content that we consume, the things that we allow into our minds. And I just wrote something down that I wanted to share for whoever's listening to this. Really just hoping the best for your year. Also writing this for myself as well. Hoping the best for my year and whatever's around the corner in these uncertain times. So here it is. May your year be filled with joy and laughter amongst close friends. May it be filled with courage and perseverance through times that seem most bleak. May it be filled with hope for a brighter future. May it be filled with curiosity and wonder. May it be filled with empathy and understanding. And most importantly, may it be filled with love. So, on that note, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2024. I'm wishing you all the best. I love you. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. This has been a dream come true. I'm so excited for all the future guests and for all the exciting things that are hopefully around the corner with this show. So stay tuned. And there's nothing in this cup. But cheers to you. Stay safe. And have an awesome 2024.